Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly important online event today. It's called The Seven Marriages of Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ. Discover the hidden story of a sacred union that revolutionized divine love, sexuality, and spirit. My name is Stephen Dunn. I'm the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, and I could not think of a more important conversation to have right now than the one we are about to have. And that is because our world has been torn apart by the imbalance between the masculine and feminine. And so part of the healing that is now required is a redemption and a reclamation of the sacred feminine, particularly at the heart of the Christian lineage and transmission. The relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene was not just of two individuals, but really two archetypal forces. And when we can bring them back into sacred union in our own hearts and world, that starts to heal what has been torn asunder. So we're going to get to explore this with one of the most important voices on the planet today, a beloved friend, ally, teacher, and soul brother. His name is Andrew Harvey. He's taught many shift programs, I think more than anyone else. He's a mystical scholar of dozens of books. He's a teacher and founder of the Institute for Sacred Activism. And he's now bringing out what he considers his most important book in February on Mary Magdalene. And so we're going to hear some of the insights from that and go deeper into the experience of how this sacred union comes alive through understanding the marriages. So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today.
Stephen, thank you. And thank you for all the support that you've given me. And thank everybody out there who contributed to my GoFundMe after the disaster that I was murdered and resurrected by in May.
Mm.
I just want you all to know that I'm at the best I've ever been. I feel more and more convinced that, terrible though these times are, there is a great birth taking place right now.
Mm.
And part of this great birth, an essential force in this great birth, is what I call the Pentecost of Mary Magdalene, the coming back of Mary Magdalene in the full radiance of her passion, compassion, and her co-equality with Christ as a female Christ. My book is called The Magdalene Revolution. And the return, the Pentecost of Mary Magdalene, is a revolution. It changes forever the entire narrative of the Gospels because it shows that Jesus was collaborated with, sustained by, supported by a woman who divinely incarnated the full power of the feminine to continually sustain, support, and initiate him as he unfolded his
Mm.
vision. It's a revolution because it totally changes our vision of what Christ consciousness is and reveals that Christ consciousness, authentic Christ consciousness, is a sacred marriage of transcendence and immanence and of all of the opposites. And what that means is the best possible good news. It means that the Christian habit of denigrating and demonizing the body, the Christian habit of separating body from soul, the Christian habit of constantly warning of the dangers of sexuality rather than offering a path, the real path, the path of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, to divinize sexuality so that its force, its glorious volcanic force, can give us the passion energy that we need to face the problems of the world. It means that all of that is now over as she returns with him, co-equal, co-partner, co-collaborator in the great work of original blessing appearing in every part of us as a force of truth, fire, love, and love in radiant and joyful action.
I want to invite you to talk about the seven marriages now. I think that provides a really deep, nuanced understanding of like how this can unfold at all
Yes.
levels.
Well, I hope you won't mind because it came from Mary Magdalene herself, and it was given to Mary V. And I would love to just read to you what Mary Magdalene said when she appeared to my friend in the early 90s in her small white flat in Saint-Sulpice, where she was quietly and stoically going blind. This is what the Magdalene said to her. And I invite you, my friends, to listen to this, not just as a revelation of the grandeur and majesty and nobility of what Jesus and Mary lived, but to listen to this as a message to you of what the love that is being born in you is capable of, and as a map that not only travels through time, but also travels beyond time in eternity, a map of what authentic, total, embodied divine human love can be. Everything I'm about to say to you has always been seeded in you. Because everything I am and Jesus is, and we are together, is already in you, waiting in you to help you in your own unique evolution and incarnation of the fire of love. Jesus and I have had 7 ascending marriages in our marriage in the one. 6 can be spoken of. For the 7th, there are no words, but silence will teach you its mysteries directly when you are ready. The 7 marriages are unfolded in the following way. I'm going to say them briefly and invite you to meditate on each stage as long as you are alive. Our first marriage took place when Jesus and I first gazed at each other, and our souls, hearts, and bodies merged as one. Our second marriage, that was the marriage at Cana, was dedicated to the sacred marriage of the Father and the Mother in the one, and married us in the one to it, so the one could work in us separately and together. Our third marriage, the total abandoned love we lived in private, married progressively our souls and hearts in the love fire of the one, to every cell and muscle and bone in our bodies, unifying both of our beings separately and together, birthing Jesus deeper into his human divinity in me, and me deeper into my human divinity in him. Our fourth marriage occurred at the anointing. And at the anointing, I blessed him as his human wife, his divine feminine other self, and as the mother herself blessing the Father. In the anointing, I symbolically married him again as he and I together prepared to face the price of birthing the powers we now knew and embodied, as he and I together prepared to face the price of everything we had experienced being given for the transformation of humanity and the universe. The fifth marriage that married our whole human and transcendent being to each other in a love both ultimately painful and ultimately joyful, unfolded as he and I lived together his passion and crucifixion, The male disciples, apart from John, abandoned him. I remained. I suffered his betrayal and torture, the horror that was inflicted on him, the agony of the universe itself, both with him and in the depths of myself. There was no separation at any moment. I accompanied him as he descended into hell and liberated its prisoners. And this was the most terrible part of our journey. And after the liberation from hell, I knew or could know nothing of what would unfold next. We had known that love could do anything from what it had done in us. But because I was still embodied and subtly limited by my embodiment, I could not follow him any further. And that is why I came into the resurrection garden weeping. Our sixth wedding was in the resurrection garden, and I was irradiated with the new light of the new creation to begin my own resurrection in him, in me. After he left in the ascension, the sixth marriage unfolded both in time and beyond it, in light after light, revelation after revelation, glory after glory in the last decades of my life in the cave in France. And that cave was the womb of the birth of our true child, the child of our true and total love, the child of the endless transfiguration process for all beings and all the matter of all the universes. I had to stay on the earth to ground this work in this world, in this reality, while Jesus, from within me, both in this reality and one with the one, guided me and helped me guide myself. The seventh marriage began when I left the body and united with Jesus in all dimensions forever in the one. And once again, I say to you, everything I am saying that was revealed to me can be revealed to you. We have never been separate. And you've come to the time in your evolution when you are ready to claim your inseparability from me, in you. Whatever you do not understand or cannot understand now, love, total, divine, total, embodied love will teach you directly and make plain to you. So what you have, Stephen, and I'm sure I could see from your face that you were registering it, and it is stupendous. What you have in her transmission to Mary V, which is the core of my book, which my whole book is structured around, which the whole transmissions that I'm about to try to give in her honor and in the honor of the sacred union are all inspired by. What you have there is a map of what human divine love can do. It can melt you together with another person so that you don't lose your identity, but your identity is infinitely expanded. It can fill you with an overwhelming rapture that is united directly to the rapture of the Father, Mother, whose love-making creates the whole universe. It can fuel you with the clarity and the wisdom and the passion and the energy you need to carry out your sacred evolutionary task in reality. And it can take you through whatever price you have to pay in this alchemically turbulent, beyond imagining world to be able to pay it so that the next level of the miracle of what this love can do can appear. The resurrection, the redemption of everything. And then when the object disappears of your love, it cannot disappear because it's inside you. He was inside her as one with her feminine consciousness in the ultimate sacred marriage of cosmic and cosmic, cosmic masculine and cosmic feminine embodied. And then she continued as the divine feminine infused with his cosmic love to ground this resurrection light in the cells, muscles, and bones of her own body so that all bodies could be contagiously informed by it, and in the depths, the souls of the earth, of the whole of nature, so that at the core of nature, the secret fire could wake up that would take nature through endless spirals of transformation into a final union in the pleroma with the source light of all of matter to birth a resurrected universe.
Mm.
If their love was capable of that, and it was, we see it, we know it, the map is here now. What could your and my love as brothers, what could our deep relationship form for us? What could our friendships, our sacred friendships, not, if taken into this embodying marriage of masculine and feminine, not in gender, what could our ecstatic sexual relationships, when lived with this degree of honor and commitment to the transformation, not just of ourselves, but of the world, what could it not do? This isn't a return of her to be celebrated. This is a return of her and him to say to all of us, look, the map's here. The necessity of following this map now, when everything's threatened, is beyond argument, but do not despair. This unified force field of love is real, and we are in it beyond time, and we're going to embrace all of you and help all of you, whether you're a Hindu or a Christian or a transsexual or a lesbian acrobat, it doesn't matter. We're here to show you there is no limit to the power of love, but not in the sentimental sense, in the sense of incarnating it so it can engolden you and birth you as a midwife warrior of the new world.
Mm.
That's their stupendous gift. And I have received it despite myself. I have not wanted to. I have avoided it. I have tried to play games with it, but it has got me by the golden talons and it's living inside me. And I know it's real. And there are so many who know it's real. And the course that I'm going to be given is going to be the distillation, as far as I can do at this moment, of the essential mysteries with the essential practices that can help anyone of goodwill on any path experience this amazing gift and be empowered by it
Mm.
for themselves.
Mm. Oof. Andrew, you are you are bringing through an incredible transmission of sacred wisdom right now, and I'm just in awe. And I know we're going to talk a bit about your upcoming course in more detail in just a little bit, and I want to also ask about some of so the Mary V transmission is obviously very central to
Yes.
this wisdom that you're bringing forth. I also want to ask you about the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, which is
Oh,
another piece that
yes.
just came online recently, and why that's really important for us to kind of
Oh, my
realize this
God.
whole vision.
Oh, everyone who is listening, if you don't read my book, I forgive you. And if you don't take the class, I forgive you. But if you don't read the Gospel of the Beloved Companion that was issued in 215 by an immensely brave woman in France, Jeanne de Castellane, who translated it and presented that version in the 2nd century Alexandrian Greek, which was written by Mary Magdalene herself, and translated it and risked her life to get it out in publication. If you don't buy it and read it carefully, please, please, may your karmic craziness be forgiven, because it is such a major event. Very simply, and I could go on for the rest of the hour, but I mustn't. Very simply, Mary Magdalene, after the crucifixion and ascension, went probably for a while before going to Alexandria before going to France to Alexandria. And there she wrote her gospel, the gospel of the beloved companion, in Alexandrian Greek. That gospel she took with her to France and taught while she was in France. But when she died and terrible troubles came upon the different groups that had been associated with her, that gospel was preserved by a specific sacred group attached to the Cathars and kept secret for 2,000 years, because they knew from all the horrible persecutions that the church had done to them that that gospel would be destroyed if it was released. And what Jeanne did was to go against some of the voices in her own group and say, the time is now. We cannot keep this secret anymore. We have to release it. And she's teaching in amazing ways from the gospel. And when you get the gospel, you'll find her email. And please, please listen to this amazing woman. But there are 4 things that the gospel makes absolutely clear, which are the foundation of my book and many books that have been written since 2015. The first is that the marriage of Cana, the first miracle of Jesus, was the marriage of Mary Magdalene and Jesus, which explodes the fullness of the meaning of that marriage into yet another dimension of revelation. The second revelation of the gospel of the beloved companion is that the external marriage that they were living was a revelation of an internal marriage that has to be lived separately and together by every human being. An internal marriage of masculine and feminine that is incarnated most deeply in Logion 22 of the Gospel of Thomas, in which Jesus takes people through all of the stages in which the internal masculine and internal feminine marry each other to birth what's called the anthropos, the sacred androgyne. The third great revelation is the revelation of her role in the Passion and in the entire story, absolutely essential to all of its unfolding in all of the ways that I've described. And the fourth, and this is the most important revelation of all, is that in this astounding gospel, you have intact, as you don't have in the Gnostic Gospel of Mary, Mary Magdalene's full teaching of ascension in the body, of transfiguration and resurrection in the body, which she gave a week after the crucifixion to a group of dazed and dispirited disciples in a room in Bethany. And my book and our class together, the transmissions I'm giving, will end with a deep exploration of that amazing transmission that Jesus probably gave to her a few weeks before the resurrection to prepare her for the horror and madness and agony and revelation of what was going to happen. And it is the first account that we have of a woman ascension process. It's the first account we have of a meeting at the end of this whole unfolding of the full Divine Mother. It's the first graded ascension process into transfigured divine humanity. It's astounding.
Hmm.
And it will be always the central sacred text of the Mary Magdalene Pentecost.
Hmm.
So, ah, as you can see, I am so grateful for this amazing book, and
Oh.
it's without it, the book I've written couldn't have been written. It was something that has been essential for all of us who are trying to be voices in the great, gorgeous celebratory mass of the Pentecost of
Hmm.
Mary
Hmm.
Magdalene. So please dive into it and into Jahan's teachings.
Hmm. What an exquisite offering. So perfectly timed for what we're facing now on a planetary scale. And I want to,
It's
before
all
we
time,
talk about your
Stephen. This is
course,
all time.
it's all time.
It's timed with such unspeakable precision, which gives us such hope in the middle of the despair that we're so
Mm,
much of us are living. We are not being abandoned. We're being given the full help, the full map, the full inspiration. We must grasp it
mm,
because with it, so much is possible, and without it, very little is possible.
mm. Earlier in this call, you spoke about the ways that the Catholic Church had misrepresented Magdalene's time in the cave. I wonder if you would be willing to share your perspective now on what she was really undergoing in that cave.
Mary Magdalene was, by the time she went into that cave, probably for the 30 years after she came to France, increasingly spending longer times within it. What she was doing, I believe, was what the mother of Aurobindo was doing, the mother, the consort of Aurobindo was doing. She wasn't praying, she wasn't giving teachings, she was becoming herself more and more a unified force field of embodied love, marrying, knitting, weaving the resurrection light, the light that had exploded from Christ's body in the resurrection garden and which had permanently altered human DNA and the DNA of the universe. She was taking that light which had irradiated her, and she was knitting, weaving, and baptizing each of the cells of her body and of her surroundings with that light, knitting it into the depths of the human DNA, grounding it, becoming the silent, burning, golden, embodied mother of the birth of the divine human and a new creation. And at the end of my book, I put this practice that was revealed to me by her that she was doing. And rather than take people through perhaps the entire practice, because we've spent a lot of time, I think, appropriately on the vision, let me just read to people. And perhaps what I could do is to prepare a slower reading and have it added to this when you send this out. But let me just give you what I know. Imagine that you can see, my friends, the vision that I saw, her standing as a radiating golden tower of light outside the cave. Please see that right now. and take it into the depths of yourself. And now, imagine Jesus, the resurrected and cosmic Christ, coming out of the cave and joining his eternal co-equal bride beloved, his cosmic woman, who understood and understands and lives the all. And imagine Jesus too as a golden tower in a blaze of golden light. The blazes of golden light that surround Jesus and Mary separately now in front of your astonished inner eyes first touch, then expand in a circle around both of them, which then explodes softly in a big bang of golden light that irradiates suddenly and finally everything, the cave and the mountain behind them, the lush landscape of the creation beyond, and then the whole universe, and you too, drunk now on the golden light wine of their marriage, alive now in all of you, mind, heart, guts, muscles, bones, cells. If you want, chant Om Nama Kana Kena. Om Nama Kena. Meaning I celebrate my inner marriage with yours, eternal ones. With your hands on your ecstatic heart, expanding now to embrace all beings in the whole ever-birthing universe, with the vast and unconditional yes, beyond reason or words. Rest in the glorious, grounded, ecstatic hope in the divine, superabundant grace that this wordless final yes will fill you with. Now, concentrate. The steady embodied bliss, hope, and yes, you are now living in the living core of your own sacred heart center. Imagined now as a dancing golden sun spreading its birthing light upward to your crown center, beyond it to the unknowable, and down to the bottom of your feet, to the fire core of the earth. And now, start saying tenderly but firmly the mantra of the female Christ. I have been given to offer humbly in her name to anyone who wants it to experience its miraculous power, as I have begun to. Om Nama Maria Magdalenaya. Om Nama Maria Magdalenaya. And start directing its power inwardly to all the trillions of your cells and your entire body that have been waiting for billions of years throughout your incarnations to receive the direct golden kiss that saying of the mantra of the Magdalene will give them. And imagine now, with great joy, as you continue saying the mantra in ever-growing amazement, the trillions of cells inside you start to awaken as brilliant golden light diamonds, dancing with and swirling around in ever more amazingly beautiful geometric forms that appear and disappear in ever more lucid and ravishing alignments and configurations. Imagine too that all your golden light diamond cells now join you, and your awakened golden heart sun in saying Om Nama Maria Magdalenaya in ecstatic tiny voices, singing flames now in the Magdalene's Pentecostal birthing flame of love. and dedicate all that you find you already are, and all you will now go on becoming forever, both in time and history and beyond them, in realms no one yet can imagine, but will recognize and enter later with rapture and wonder and adoration when they are revealed. Dedicate yourself as they did, to being a birther, a way shower, and a way shower in this world, in all others also.
Hmm. What a transmission, Andrew. Whew. Wow. You have brought so
It's the
much.
culmination.
You brought so much forward in this time together, and I do want to spend some time talking about your course because it is an incredible
Absolutely.
opportunity to receive the direct truth, transmission, vision, and practices that can help us enact this birth of the divine humanity in our own lives. Taking inspiration from Magdalene and Jesus, but going deep into the heart of our own awakening process as well. So, so Andrew has taught many programs for Shift, and I think this may be his most important offering that he's ever made. And
It is by far my most important offering. And truly, Stephen, I'm not saying that. I know it.
yes, it's
Thank
called
you.
The Revelatory Love Story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, the secret teachings of a sacred union that revolutionized divine love, sexuality, and spirit. It's at the URL magdaleneandjesus.com, magdaleneandjesus.com. It's a 7 week journey, each module a transmission of wisdom that builds on the last, taking you through this inner marriage that enacts the divinization of our humanity and our relational life as well. Andrew, maybe share, you've shared so much already, but what are you intending for
Let
people to
me
come
just
away
go
with?
through it. I think there's so much being given, and I would beg you, if you honor what I've been saying, to read in detail what I've written for each module, because I spent 3 months trying to get it as essential for you. This entire set of transmissions is for you, and it's for you to be able to interiorize at the deepest possible level you can the external story, so that in what the Gospel of Philip calls the nuptial chamber, your inner feminine and your inner masculine can make love and birth you as the divine human. My whole book was written from the beginning to the end to you. And every single stage, there are practices within it that will help you integrate what I have been given to give. And all of these classes have been structured meticulously, precisely, with diamond-like graded clarity to help you as far as I can, with their grace, become a living furnace of unity, transforming yourself and others and the world and the universe.
Hmm.
That's my wild and holy and ambitious plan.
Hmm.
And if you look at how I've structured, if you dare to look and honor me enough to look at the whole precise description, you'll get some very deep idea of what's actually being given you in these classes. But let me give you a simple overview right now. In module 1, we start at the marriage of Cana, Jesus' first miracle when he turns water into wine, at the inspiration of his mother. And now, as I've told you through the gospel of the beloved companion, we know that it was their marriage. And what I will do is reveal all of the different amazing meanings of that first miracle being done as a human being who is a sacred marriage, in the sacred marriage, to show you just how radical, revolutionary, and transformatory that is. And I will offer you a practice, and I'm not going to go through all of the practices, otherwise we'll be here for another hour, but they're all taken from the deep Christian mystical tradition, and also the Kashmiri Shaivite tradition, and also the Taoist alchemical tradition, to give you the best chance of really doing this great sacred work. So the module 1 is called Activate Sacred Union, activate the marriage of Cana within yourself through the revelatory marriage of Cana and all the meanings of that marriage that I will explore with you. Module 2 is called Reclaim Sexual Holiness and Your Divine Human Nature through the meeting of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Let me read to you the meeting from the Sophianic Gospel that was written in the 6th century, the meeting of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Experience it beyond words. At one point, he glanced at her, caught her gaze, and something passed between them. She was thunderstruck. An energy and vibration filled her whole body. A sight opened, and she saw his true form as light and fire and truth, and a love such as she had never known welled up in her. She saw him in his divine glory and in his humanity at the same time. And he saw her. The divine masculine within recognized the divine masculine feminine without, and then he summoned her and took her into the desert. And there they taught each other and merged with each other, and they came out of the desert and married. That is the meeting. But in order to understand the fullness of that meeting, you have to do two things, which is what I will do with you and for you. I will explore who the real Jesus is and his full sexuality, and I will explore who the real Magdalene is, not a woman possessed by 7 demons, but someone going through the torment of the destruction of the feminine in an overwhelming dark night that could only be healed by him himself. And I will explore 3 astonishing secret mystical traditions that would be available to both of them at that time. The mystical tradition of the first temple, in which Yahweh was worshipped as the great sacred masculine, but also Asherah was worshipped as the embodied divine mother. And this tradition was destroyed and humiliated, but it survived. The second tradition was the tradition of the mysticism of the Song of Songs, that extravagantly beautiful and luscious book in which a man and a woman speak to each other in mystical poetry of the highest kind, of the revelation of a complete human divine love. And the third tradition is the tradition that was alive in Jesus' time, but later got crystallized in the Kabbalah, which was the tradition of what is called sexual holiness. I bet you never felt you'd live to hear those 2 words to put together, but they were put together by the Kabbalists. And when I give you the full impact of those 3 traditions meeting through and in them as representatives of the divine mother and father, you'll be able to reclaim your own body as a temple and your own sexuality as a radiant, transfiguring love force. In module 3, I'm going to awaken evolutionary love and its power to transmute through the 7 sacred marriages of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. You've heard the map that I've tried to give you, and that will be the map that I will begin with, but also dive deeply into, so that the full map of what has been awoken in you, your body as a sacred temple, your sexuality as a divine transfiguring love force, can realize what it can accomplish in this life for the world. In Module 4, I'll dive deeply into the mystery of the anointing, the moment when Mary Magdalene came and anointed Jesus before the Passion and the crucifixion. It's very important to understand why she anointed him then. And the clearest way of saying it is that Jesus was now going to become a mother of a new creation himself through being torn apart, like a mother is often torn apart to give birth, on the cross for a new creation. And she was anointing him with all the power of her sacred feminine understanding and knowledge of the mysteries at the very moment when he was about to go into the depths of the feminine mysteries of the dark night, the crucifixion, the passion, and then, of course, the birth of a new world, a new creation, a new humanity as a mother. And I will explain to you how revealing the great women mystics have been about this mystical process. And also suggest to you that now you need to anoint your own sacred masculine, because as the masculine and feminine merge more and more deeply, you too are destined to be, whether you are male or female, mothers of a new way of being and doing in embodied divine love. In Module 5, I will go into the depths, as far as I'm capable of what this union of Mary and Jesus in the Passion Resurrection created, which was really three resurrections. And this is an amazing, amazing possibility when you come to understand it. Of course, there's the resurrection of Jesus. There's the resurrection through the resurrection of Mary Magdalene, through Jesus, of the whole of humanity into the potential for resurrection, transfiguration of the whole being in this life. And then there is the resurrection through that, which the great Christian mystics like Origen and like, of course, Teilhard of Chardin and others grasped that once this was seeded in human matter, it could radiate to matter, and all of matter could be taken through spirals of transfiguration into an unspeakable union with the source itself. And I'm going to try and show how that coming into unity with that possibility of endless, infinite transformation builds in you a force that can resist and transmute darkness and evil on every level, as it did in them. And how valuable that is going to be in the orgy of evil that is now possessing our world. In Module 6, I will plunge in very deep detail into the great transmission that Mary Magdalene gives at the end of the Gospel, the beloved companion, the transmission of the eightfold ascension process, which will transfigure all of our understandings of radical embodiment forever, so that you can start participating with it and finding your way through its levels to the fullness of your incarnation of the marriage in yourself. And then in the last module, I am going to take you deep into the mystery of the birthing cave, slowly, deeply, much more richly than I was able to do today, so that after going through the first 6 modules, really starting to integrate the full mystical story and map of their union into your internal union, you will be ready to join with them in the great mystery of the birthing cave and start doing the work in your life to transfigure yourself, your world, the universe, and birth the new creation that is already here, longing for you to turn up and
Mm.
participate gloriously with its all transforming beauty and power.
Mm. Well, what an incredible offering, Andrew. This is obviously the summation of a lifetime of work and mystical practice and realization. What a blessing for all of us to receive. There is more
Thank you
detail
for
that,
giving me the chance, Stephen. Bless you, and bless all of you who've listened to this. Thank
yes,
you.
well, there's more detail that Andrew has really painstakingly, accurately portrayed every single module at magdaleneandjesus.com. I'll share a few other things that we haven't covered. So first of all, if you participate, you're going to get the live time, 7 transmissions with Andrew, which also includes time to ask your questions live. You'll get recordings, video, and audio, and highly recommended because these transmissions are so powerful listening to them again and again. You also have word-for-word transcripts. There's weekly practices for home, a really beautiful community group to support you and deepen your unfolding experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see Andrew's been generous with other bonuses for this program. There are excerpts from the Magdalene Revolution in PDF form. There's an audio and video with Andrew and an incredible mystic transmitter channel, Teresa Joseph, called Channeled Messages and Practices from Mary Magdalene. You want to share a little bit about that one?
Teresa Joseph was my guide throughout the process. She's a hidden gem. She's someone who has direct sight. She's very calm. She's very grounded. And she's been receiving many absolutely amazing messages directly from Mary Magdalene. And I know she is receiving them because the very last time after I'd finished the book that I had a session with her, I wasn't merely listening to what she was saying, I was by grace seeing what she was saying. So
Hmm.
I know she's authentic.
Hmm.
And that's why I wanted to present her to Shift. I wanted to present her to my friends who take this transmission class, because there are many very talented people, but there are very few authentic ones working at the level that she is able to
Hmm.
work at, and bringing down these direct transmissions and direct practices from Mary Magdalene herself.
Wow. And that's just one bonus that complements the core teachings here. And then there's a final bonus that you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is just giving you a little extra encouragement to make a decision now while you're here. Andrew's words and presence and heartfelt blessings. And if you move forward today, you're going to get a video exploration with him called The Vision of the Sacred Marriage that really is a deep complement to everything you've heard today. You want to share more about that video exploration?
What I'm going to do in that video is to go through all of the visions of the sacred marriage that lie at the heart of the mystical traditions. I'm going to concentrate especially on the most glorious one before the revelation of Mary Magdalene and Jesus, the one that's enshrined at the heart of Shaivism, the heart of the vision of Shiva and Shakti. And then I'm going to dive deep into what I have tried to sketch in our time together, what the real sacred marriage between Mary and Jesus makes possible, and show how it takes all of the visions of all of the interpretations of the sacred marriage to the next level of presence, power, radical engagement with radical transformation of reality, dedication of everything that you learn and become in sacred relationship to the transformation of the world. That's the unique taste of what you could call Christian Tantra, of the sacred marriage. And when you have all of the visions all together, crystallizing through the lens of the great love union of Mary Magdalene and Jesus, and all available to you through that lens, while being taken to that extra calm intensity of embodiment and radical responsibility to love in action, then I believe you have the complete yes that you need to go forward and birth a new world.
Hmm. That is just an amazing bonus by itself. I mean, that's a whole program in itself. Well, clearly, this is going to be a life-changing, one-of-a-kind course journey of transformation, initiation, and healing. We've kept the investment very accessible. It's just three payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start February 4th and run Wednesdays at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, which you can listen to again and again, and the transcripts in the community. There are beautiful testimonials from every major spiritual teacher out there, it seems, for Andrew and his work. He's really had a huge impact on me, on thousands of other teachers, and dedicated students of the mysteries, and really the people who are changing the world from a standpoint of sacred activism. So you are in really good hands, and this is the most important course he's offered, and this is not to be missed. So again, it's all at magdaleneandjesus.com, magdaleneandjesus.com, and you will get the vision of the sacred marriage if you sign up by midnight tonight. Anything that's
Thank you
still on
so
your heart you want
much.
to share with folks who are still considering whether or not to do the course with you?
This course is for you. It's for all lovers of the Magdalene, all lovers of the Jesus. It's not for Christians only. It's for all lovers of the sacred feminine. It's for all lovers, for all people who truly want to know more and more deeply about the transforming power of love. I will, I promise you, make it as clear, as lucid, as grounded and practical for your transformation as I possibly can. Because what I've discovered is what I know many of you have discovered, and that is that even the very greatest prophets and mystics are actually reflections of our own potential. And it's time to take the projections back, to own our responsibility, and gloriously get together to do the work together to save and transform the world. So please, please join me. Let me share everything that I have learned with you. Let me hear from you. Let's share our wisdom. Let's share our passion.
Hmm.
And I can guarantee you one thing, that I will give you everything that I have been given.
Hmm. Thank you, Andrew, for the generosity of spirit and the dedication that is bringing this course forward. Thank you for all your years of scholarship and mystical practice that you've shared with us today. Beautiful on every level. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you all for
Thank you.
joining.
Bless you, Stephen. And thank you for letting me dance with you. I love you and I love my colleagues there. And thank you
Hmm.
so much for all
Uh,
the honor you've paid me and all the practical help that you and all of Shift have given me to begin my new life.
well, I love you too, Andrew, and it is really out of this vision that I think all of us can give our highest gifts to the larger shift of our planet, which is the divinization of humanity and realization of our full potential. And thank you for the offering today, which is really at the heart of it. Many blessings.
Thank you, Dan. Bless you.